Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction ahead of Manchester United's game against West Ham on Sunday. So I'll give you all the questions he was asked and I'll give you his responses to them. So this was the first question. Have things settled down a bit now since all the buzz and expectation of Cristiano Ronaldo arriving? How have the young players been coping with the world's eye and that added pressure this week? Oll's response was, I think it's a life as normal. We've signed a good player. There's always loads of attention around Cristiano. He copes with it, and the players there just get on with the job and cope with it as well. It was a big occasion, of course, last week with Newcastle, the excitement of the crowd, and I thought we did really well. We handled the situation, and of course Cristiano as well delivered. So that was Ollie's response to that question. Ronaldo has done well since he's re-signed. He's got 3 goals in 2 games. He scored against Young Boys on Tuesday, and he scored twice against Newcastle on his second debut last weekend. And like I said, I think Ronaldo will be in contention to play in this game against West Ham. Ronaldo issued a demand to Man United after being substituted in the 2-1 defeat to Young Boys. Ronaldo says he wants Man United to stay confident despite the defeat. Prior to the Young Boys game, Ronaldo said that Man United can win the Champions League. Not so long ago, Solskjaer did say it's not impossible to leave Ronaldo out of the team. Solskjaer insists that he doesn't have to play Ronaldo for every game. Ronaldo wears the number 7 shirt. We got him in a deal worth 19.8 million with add-ons included. He signed a 2-year contract with Man United with an option of a 3rd year, and he receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo's already hinted that he's looking to stay at Man United beyond his current contract. When Ronaldo returned, he gave a speech to his Man United teammates, and he's told his Man United teammates he wants the Premier League this season. So anyway, this was the second question. I was going to ask you about Diego Dalot, if that's okay. With the sending off of Wan-Bissaka, he may get a chance in Europe at least. I was wondering the thinking behind him staying at the club rather than going on loan this season, and whether you think he's at the level required to compete for the place in the first team. Ollie's response was, yeah, Diego's had a very good summer, of course, being called up into the Euros. He did well for Portugal under 21s. He had a season that he learned a lot from in Milan. He kept fit. That was a big thing, and he's got qualities we will look to try and exploit more and more. He's got more experience, and we're not here to just loan players out for years and years. Last year's loan was to give him that experience game time, and I think he did well when he came on the other night. So that was Ollie's response to that question. Yeah, Diego Dalot, he's backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. From my perspective, I think we should offload Diego Dalot next year. I wanted him to go in this year's summer transfer window, But obviously it did say towards the end of the summer transfer window that it's very likely Diego Dalot is going to be staying at Man United. When the summer transfer window was open, it did say that Borussia Dortmund were in talks to sign Diego Dalot from Man United. It said Borussia Dortmund were interested in a loan with the option to buy. And I think 2 other clubs were in for him in the summer transfer window. We got Diego Dalot 3 years ago from Porto, got him for 19 million. He's under contract with Man United till 2023. And last season he was out on loan with AC Milan. He'll play against Villarreal because Wan-Bissaka isn't available. So this was the third question. Just talking about Europe, we're obviously come to the end of this first round of games. A lot of good games, a couple of close games, a lot of goals. I just wondered what you thought of this new format that is new now, meant to be coming in a couple of years' time, 10 games. This Swiss formula working out who you play. I just wondered what you thought about this whole proposal to change the format in a couple of years. All his response was, it's quite complicated, so I haven't really got to grips with every single little detail. But every time there is a change, there is a little bit of resistance. I remember there was resistance for the Champions League. People were asking, why do we need a Champions League? The Champions League now looks like a fantastic tournament to be in. Same again. It might be a change for the better, who knows? I can't give you an opinion on how it's going to look. I'm sure the powers that are looking at it have a good reason for it, and hopefully it will be a better competition. So that was all his response to that question. So this was the next question. What's been the reaction since the defeat on Tuesday in Switzerland between you, your players, and are you concerned about your form in the Champions League? Ollie's response was, of course, you wait to see when you see them this morning when you come back in. The attitude is like you expect it to be. They're focused, of course, a little bit disappointed, but not too downbeat. You know it's a setback, we have to do better, and we've got 5 games to get those 10, 12 points we need. Of course, it's not the start we wanted, but we're a team that can bounce back again, and the group is very good. So that was Ollie's response to that question. And, I'm still convinced that we can get to the knockout stages of the Champions League despite losing to Young Boys. It was only one game. And against West Ham this Sunday, we've got to respond to the disappointment against Young Boys. Solskjaer had to take a lot of responsibility from that defeat to Young Boys because the tactics were wrong. Like I said, Solskjaer shouldn't have taken Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes off. He should have kept Donny van der Beek on, shouldn't have taken him off at half time because Donny van der Beek was our best player in the first half. And he shouldn't have started Wan-Bissaka because I said Wan-Bissaka needed a rest. Anyway, this was the next question. You've always said that you don't get too high after a win and too low after a defeat, but does it surprise you at all that you can go from so much praise after Leeds and Newcastle to then losing one game? And maybe from the outside it's all doom and gloom. Does that pendulum swinging so quickly ever surprise you? Ollie's response was, No, it doesn't surprise me, of course. I've got my job and we do our job. You, in the media, tend to be judged by the behaviours and the outcomes rather than the intentions. We go into the game with good intentions, we make changes with good intentions, we go into a tackle with good intentions, we play a pass with good intentions. It's always the outcome that decides the headline that we'll see. And very rarely is the game either fantastic or very bad. It just hovers about good or not good enough. We know the expectations are high. We expect more of ourselves as well. The performance wasn't up to our standard. So that was Ollie's response to that question. This was the next question. In November last year, I asked you about your long-term vision for United, and you told me about how you plan to attack with quick attacks and crosses in the new year. I asked you about your layer-by-layer method with defence. Could I spare some time to talk about your iterations in centre midfield that pivot behind your many attacking players? And in front of your impressive defensive players, how do you want that two-man pivot to work in future? Ollie's response was, I'll give David Moyes all my insights, then won't I? I'm not here to explain every single detail of how I want my team to play. We want centre midfielders who can play. Today's football is about he's a good 6, he's an 8, he's a 10. Back in the day you had midfielders, proper midfielders like Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Brian Robson. You see players out there who can do attacking and defending. We look for midfielders who are complete and we try to develop that in our midfield. It's about balance between how many you can commit forward to how you defend, because one little mistake and there's a counter attack towards you. So that was Ollie's response to that question. So this was the next question. Before, when I talked to you about Mason Greenwood and attacking players, you said about other than Cavani, you see all your attacking players can do many roles, and now you're talking about how you see your players as midfielders. Is this sort of your new overarching philosophy about having players that can do 2 or 3 things? So all his response was, overarching philosophy, I don't sit here and claim that football is simple game. It's about making good decisions, it's about your qualities, it's about being in a team, and sometimes we look too much into the little intricacies. It's passion, it's desire, it's who wants to win that tackle, who wants to win that ball, which one of the strikers has got the desire to get on the end of crosses. You can talk about all that sorts, it looks nice on paper, but when you get out on that pitch, it's about who wants to win. That's one of the big things. You want winners, and I think I'm getting there with my team. They are team players. So that was all his response to that. So this was the next question. I just want to ask you please how Edison Cavani is with his injury, and do the new signings you've made this summer impact the role you expect him to have this season and the games he's going to play? All his response was, Edison hopefully will start training with us after the weekend, hopefully maybe Monday. Maybe he'll be involved on Wednesday because he's had a fantastic season last season. The impact he made towards the end of it when he got his fitness, because he struggled early on with fitness, he struggled with niggles. We feel now to get the best out of Edison this season. We need him to have 100% fit and not pushing. We've got a strong squad that will cope with having to let players heal, and so we don't risk any further injuries. I see Edison having a massive impact because he's that type of personality and player. He's a top professional and I can't wait to get back on. He's working really hard to get back on the pitch. So that was Ollie's response to that. That's good news that Cavani's almost back. Yes, he has been absent. I'm expecting Cavani to leave at the end of this season. Back in May, Cavani signed a one-year contract extension. Cavani receives £250,000 a week now at Man United. Don't forget, on deadline day of the summer transfer window, Barcelona made an inquiry over signing Edinson Cavani. And Barcelona were in advanced talks, but Romano came out and said that Cavani would not join Barcelona and he would not leave Man United. This was the final question of the press conference. This is regarding Lingard. So can I just check about Jesse Lingard? Obviously, an awful lot of attention on him after what happened in midweek. He's going to be back to West Ham with all the obvious connections there. Where is he exactly at with his contract and his future at United? Ollie's response was he's got 1 year this season left on his contract. Of course, the club is talking to him and his dad. We see him as a Man United player in the future as well. Jesse has come back in to us after a great spell at West Ham. He showed his qualities. He's back in the England squad. He scores goals for England and we really want to see the best of Jesse this season. We support him and we hope to keep him here with us. He's a Red through and through. So that was all his response to that final question. So that was everything that was mentioned in the press conference. Jesse Lingard, I want us to sell him in January. Well, it said the other week that Man United set Jesse Lingard cut price fee. He said want £12 million for him ahead of the January transfer window. The other week, Jesse Lingard rejected a new Man United contract offer over playing time concerns, despite him being in the last year of his deal. Earlier on in the summer, Lingard snubbed a return to West Ham. Last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. And yeah, Lingard cost us the game against Young Boys on Tuesday by playing that back pass in the 95th minute of stoppage time. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer did confirm that Lingard remains part of his plans despite that ongoing speculation. He's been part of the club though for a long time. I'm expecting Manchester United to beat West Ham on Sunday. We have enjoyed a good start to the Premier League season. We've won 3 games out of 4 in the Premier League, so we've registered 10 points from possible 12, and we are top of the Premier League at the moment. Plus, we've got a very good away record in the Premier League. We are unbeaten in our last 28 Premier League away games. David Moyes will be reuniting with Manchester United on Sunday. I've got to give David Moyes credit. He's doing really well in his second spell at West Ham. He's transformed them. West Ham just missed out on a Champions League place last season. I think they finished 5th or 6th, but they did enjoy a good season to their standards. Moyes has been in charge of West Ham for almost 2 years in his second spell. Moyes didn't do well in his first spell at West Ham. He got sacked. Before, Moyes has managed Real Sociedad. He got sacked from them. He managed Sunderland before he got sacked from them because he got Sunderland relegated. He managed Man United for 10 months. Moyes was the worst manager we ever had. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. That's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Moyes also managed Everton. He endured like 11 years as Everton manager, so he was a long-serving manager for Everton. He did well at Everton, and before he's managed Preston. West Ham had a very good win yesterday. They beat Dynamo Zagreb 2-0. West Ham do have Antonio suspended. He got sent off in West Ham's 0-0 draw with Southampton. And Winston Reid is out with injury. Lanzini, he's one of West Ham's key players, could be in contention to play in this game. Pablo Fornals, I think he'll be involved in this game. Pablo Fornals is very, very good for West Ham. Ben Rama, he's also made an impact at West Ham. West Ham got him from Brentford. Jared Bowen, he's also good. Souček, he's made an impact at West Ham. Declan Rice, he's definitely one of West Ham's key players. He'll be in contention to play in this game. Man United have been linked with Declan Rice. Now, the other week, he said Man United identified Declan Rice as the number one midfield transfer target for next summer. He says Declan Rice is likely to leave West Ham next summer as he targets a club offering Champions League football. When the summer transfer window was open, it did mention that Solskjaer wants Declan Rice. And Declan Rice did say that he was unhappy with West Ham's 100 million price tag. Rice has rejected a few contract offers at West Ham. He's got 3 years left on his contract at West Ham. West Ham have got Mark Noble. He's been a very long-serving player for West Ham. He's remained loyal to them for a lot of years. Mark Noble is aging up. West Ham have got Craig Dawson. I think they got him permanently earlier on this year. At one point, though, they did have him on loan. They got Craig Dawson from Watford. West Ham have also got Vladimir Kufal. West Ham made some signings in this year's summer transfer window. They brought Alex Kralin. They brought Vlasic in. They brought Zuma in. They brought Ariola in. Aaron Cresswell, he's a very, very good left back for West Ham. I think he's like the 4th best left back in the Premier League. One of West Ham's centre halves is Issa Diop. He's good. I think Ogbonna, he's another one of their centre halves. West Ham have also got Ryan Fredericks. They've got Yarmolenko. And one of West Ham's goalkeepers is Fabianski. I think he's West Ham's first choice goalkeeper. Less now, Ariola will be their first choice, or already is their first choice keeper. Don't forget, West Ham lost Sebastian Haller, and he was one of their key players. They lost Felipe Anderson as well. They lost Robert Snodgrass. Robert Snodgrass went to West Brom. and they did loan Frederick Ibsen out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. We've got a good record against West Ham. We seldom lose to them. You know, we're beating them at the London Stadium last season 3-1. We're beating them at Old Trafford last season 1-0 in the league, and we're beating them in the Cup last season 1-0. Don't forget we play West Ham in the EFL Cup next week after we've played them in the league. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll be back on with more videos later on.